Hello, heathens! Welcome to the 9th episode of Girls Gone Godless. It's just like Sunday school, but the stories are real. We serve cunt instead of communion. I'm Aaliyah.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Noe.
On today's episode, we'll be interviewing our lovely fellow heathen Cassie, an ex-evangelical turned freaky little witch slut. Her words, not mine. We are so excited to hear your deconstruction story and how you got to where you are now as a queer, non-monogamous, trauma-informed business owner and overall badass. Thank you for joining us.
Yay!
Thank you.
Yay, Cassie.
I'm so happy to be here.
I
We're
was
happy to have
so
you.
surprised when you messaged me about the Shiny Happy People documentary. I was shocked that you were any way a part of that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Not only did I go to Acquire the Fire 5 years in a row, but when they were talking about showing up at the government official buildings, I was on the steps of the Capitol with a life sticker over my mouth
Oh.
for their pro-life rally. Oh, yeah. I have pictures. I pulled out my old Bible. Don't ask me why I have it.
It's
Don't
okay.
ask me why I
Memories.
have it. But it's old, from when I was first Christian, when I was 14, but I still had the life stickers on it. It really took me back to a weird place.
Wow. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I'm sure it brought up some stuff.
Oh, it was wild. It was weird. That, along with getting into my photo bucket yesterday, it's been such a wild, couple weeks where I'm I graduated from therapy a year and a half ago and think that it might be time to just
Do
revisit.
a little check-in.
Yeah.
Time to exercise those skills once again.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, for sure.
So, it's my turn to ask the first question, isn't it? You're yeah, we're waiting. Okay, so tell us how you got started in religion. What spurred that for you?
Yeah, okay. So I did not grow up in my childhood in religion at all. I actually grew up in a very dysfunctional environment. My mom was an addict, lived in a hoarder house, often no electricity, no running water, on welfare. Even if we had it at the time, most of the time we didn't even have welfare. So very dysfunctional childhood, which led to a very dysfunctional pre-teen, early teen era, where I was in and out of homelessness. I started doing a lot of drugs, getting drunk a lot, and I found myself in this season of homelessness, and I was sleeping in a church parking lot, and I was going to the church youth group on Wednesday night just to feel connected in some sort of community, but not really in it at all, really just to see friends. And I had a pastor reach out to me, come to me, and he was like, "Hey, I know what's going on. I know that you are, your home life is not good, and we see that you're not doing good. Do you want to come to church camp and you'll have a place to stay? We're not going to charge you for a week, and you'll get food and all your needs will be taken care of for a week, and then afterwards we can kind of help you figure out what your needs are." So I was like, "Yeah, okay, I have some friends that are going." And so I went, and it was the very first time that I was really vulnerable. It didn't feel vulnerable at the time. To me, I was just telling facts about my life. And it was the first time that there was an adult coming into my life being this is not normal. You really need care in this situation. And along that same side of feeling cared for from adults, I'm having these Holy Spirit, quote unquote, Holy Spirit moments where I'm oh my God, there's something to this. This is so wild. And when I came home from church camp, I literally the day I got home, my mom had let me know she was going to rehab. And so it was a weird trajectory, mind fuck situation where I was God is real. My mom's going to rehab. What? This is wild. I prayed for this the whole week. And And then from then on, like, the church really just, like, scooped me up and, like, supported me in those, like, couple years. Um, yeah, until I ended up at, like, a really kooky evangelical, like, tongue-speaking church, for a long time. Yeah.
So the church that you went to for the church camp,
Mhm.
was that non-denominational or was it?
It was a Quaker church.
Oh,
So here's the I don't know a ton. I know that the Quaker church there are parts of it that can be a little kooky. But I will say this church like, specifically was very progressive. They were the first ones my pastors at that church were the first ones that were really like, "We love regardless of who you are, like, who else you love." They were even pro-choice. My, pastors at the time, my youth pastors, they were pro-choice. They were the first ones to tell me, like, women should be able to choose what they wanna do with their body, and I'm like, "Whoa," like,
That's
"Did you
pretty
read the Bible?"
impressive.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and they were the first ones to tell me that they were, like, voting for Obama, which was so contradictory to what the rest of the church was telling me who I needed to be. So,
Okay.
I'm thankful for, parts or people that were in that church that were really, like, showing me a progressive way to be a Christian, which parts of that really did stick with me. But then from that Friends it's called Friends Church, it's a Quaker church. From then, I moved on to a really intense, Holy Spirit focused evangelical church until I left.
What was the big difference between the first church and the second? Were you taken aback by how crazy it was, or were you excited?
I think that I was, like, more so excited because I kept coming back to that experience that I had at church camp where I felt I was encountering, again, quote, unquote, like, the Holy Spirit, where I was having, like, a really beautiful spiritual like, experience with a love that I couldn't explain. And so I of course, called that the Holy Spirit for the time being. So when I moved to the evangelical church, it was so hyper spiritual experiences that it was really like scratching an itch that I felt that I needed because I felt like there was so much of the Bible I didn't understand and the rules and the regulations and legalities of Christianity that I didn't understand. But having these, like, hyper spiritual experiences was where I could really feel, like, aligned and connected to something that was bigger than me, which then was unfortunate because it went hand in hand with, like, thinking that I was, like, seeing demons and, like,
Mm.
doing, like, expelling demons out of people and thinking that I was possessed and, like, these really wild experiences. So there was part of it that I was really excited about because did feel, like, closer to God, like, through these experiences, but it just turned really weird pretty quickly, but I was so in it that I couldn't, like, separate myself from it.
How
Yeah.
old were you when you moved from the Quaker church to what sounds like some branch of Pentecostal
Pentecostal.
Yeah.
church? Yeah.
Yeah. 16?
And then
Yeah.
what prompted the move over?
Um I think because we were friends with people that were kind of going to both, and they were telling us about these experiences that they were having that we really, like, ached for and wanted, and the pastors that were really progressive and we had really, built a connection with were actually leaving the
Okay.
Quaker church, and so we were ready to, like, move on, and there was, like, a lot of people that we knew that were going to this new evangelical church that went on to do, like, interns at a bigger church that I eventually followed into, and then they just have, like, more opportunity and experiences, so it felt like a natural progression to then move to this more wild church.
We had a guest who went to a Pentecostal church, and she said that she kept waiting for, like, those moments where
Yeah.
people were, like, speaking in tongues and falling on the floor and doing all that stuff, and she was, like, waiting, like, "What's wrong with me?" Like, "I'm not getting it," but she didn't wanna do it if it wasn't real. So,
Mm.
like, were you feeling like that was real, or were you just doing it because people around you were and you were, like, caught up in it?
I was in it,
Yeah.
like, in it deep, where, like, I was seeing demons and, like, I was seeing people around me experiencing demons in their bodies, like, obviously, at the time, that's what I thought that I was viewing. So for me, I did feel, like, very present in the moment and very present in the culture where I was able to really, like, convince myself that I was being taken over by the Holy Spirit and speaking in tongues.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, okay. So 14 Quaker church,
Yeah.
16 you moved to this Pentecostal church, and then you briefly mentioned that you did an internship at a
Yeah.
bigger church. Can you explain what that was like and
Yeah.
what you did as an intern at one of these bigger churches?
For sure. So the natural progression from moving to this evangelical church was that it was very common for the high schoolers to then move on to this larger mega church in Vacaville and do internships there or like go to the Bible college that they offered. And so that felt really aligned because one thing that's been really consistent in just who I've been as a person is I really prioritize activism in my life. And part of the internship was street ministry. And I was really passionate about that for a very long time. So, like advocating for people that didn't have homes and families and children living in traumatic situations. And part of the internship was doing that. So I moved to this internship at this mega church in Vacaville, and it was a lot of free labor, obviously. Classes on it being okay for your husbands to take advantage of you. We did like full like sex classes where I remember very specifically somebody up there telling the women in the class that even if you don't want to have sex with your husband, that's your duty to have sex with your husband. So very, very indoctrinated. This is when I really got into like the legalities of religion and like a lot of the fluff and things like that was taken away. Um, yeah, so a lot of free labor, a lot of really intense apologetic classes. That was really wild for me. I was told how to manipulate people into believing what I believed regardless of what answer that they gave me. Like, I don't know if anybody here has taken an apologetics class, but it's nutty.
No, I
It's
know
nutty.
nothing about that. Do
Mm-mm.
you
It's just like convincing people to that your answer is right. It's just all manipulation.
Oh. Do you
Yeah.
remember any of the specific tactics that you were taught? Um,
No.
no, okay, yeah, no,
I don't.
good,
Thank
block it
God.
out.
No, like,
Yeah,
thank God.
yeah,
You know what?
or whoever. Yeah,
Yeah, or
whoever.
whoever, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Well,
I don't. I just remember taking world religion classes and them like trying to convince us and prove to us why Christianity was the like begin and end all of everything, which is funny because I've also taken like world religion classes since then. And it's like, it's all the fucking same. It's the same story across every religion,
right.
which is wild. But yeah, so a lot of people that were not educated enough to be teaching people and just going off of their own experiences and having classes on how to be prophetic and um yeah, weird stuff.
Was it, like, an accredited school, or was it
No.
just, like okay, yeah,
No, it was just to like get your foot in the door for ministry. Yeah.
right.
That we paid to be there
Oh, of
also. It
course,
was
of
thousands
course.
of dollars.
Yes, so they're getting free labor from you, they're
Yeah.
getting your money, and they're
Yeah.
indoctrinating young
Oh yeah.
adults. Yeah,
Yeah. I still worked at the church after that. I became like office manager. And then I went on to do another internship at another mega church in LA. And then I was like, I gotta get out of here.
okay. Can you
It's
tell us about that experience in LA? Like
Mhm. Yeah.
okay.
Again, like I really felt so aligned with street ministry, just like figuring out how to get people housing and food and clothes on their back. And I was very passionate about that. When I did interns at the church in Vacaville, we did a trip down to this church in LA.
Wait,
It's
was it
called
called Dream something?
Yes, it's called Los Angeles Dream Center. Mhm. Yeah, I did an internship there. Did you go? Yeah. So
Of
like
course
the
you did.
blueprint, just to give you all some background, the blueprint of the Dream Center is really amazing. Like, it's a really cool theory. They purchased a hospital and transformed it into, like, a massive transitional living facility for, like, people who are incarcerated. Like, they give them an option, you can come and work at the Dream Center instead of being incarcerated. Also, I worked on, like, the family floor, which is where we take families from Skid Row who don't have homes, and we kind of rehabilitate them. Um, or we go to Skid Row specifically, and we tell them, "If you come to church with us, we'll give you food." Every Sunday, which was wild. We also just brought them food during the week. So I moved from Vacaville Megachurch to live at the Dream Center because they were like the biggest operating street ministry that I had known of, that I was aware of. And so I went there and did another internship where I was paying them to serve the people of Los Angeles and bring them to the Lord, through putting shoes on their feet and clothes on their back and bringing them into this living facility that we were all coexisting in. And it was really amazing. I had an incredible time when I was there. However, I knew that me coming out of this bubble of like street ministry at the Dream Center, which is this is like their whole focus, coming out of that back to Sacramento, no other church that I was seeing, observing, was doing anything like that at all. And that was like a weird moment for me. I'm like, isn't this what this is all supposed to be about? I'm so confused. Like, this is what I feel has been instilled in me from my experience at the Quaker church, from those progressive pastors that I was in a relationship with. Like, you love, like, before everything else. You love, love, love until you have nothing else to give everyone around you. And when I was visiting back to Sacramento, I'm like considering moving back, but I didn't know what church I was going to go to. And that was a moment where things started to not make sense or feel super good in the line. And that's when I really started to like question things. Yeah. It got a little gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did those questions take you? So did that lead to your exit or was there
Uh,
more?
it was a little bit more. So I had I had met a boy during my whole process of being in the church. I was still very sexually driven. Like, I was still doing a lot of things that would probably be frowned upon. I met a boy while I was at interns. He was not a Christian. He was completely like unaffiliated to this whole world that I had been in since I was 14. In fact, his Twitter handle, the last, like, digits of his Twitter handle said 666, and everybody was so
Ooh.
shook by that. But he was the first person to really ever gain an interest in me and was like, "I'm taking you on a date. Like, I'm attracted to you. I wanna get to know you. I'm so interested in you." And so my little, like, purity heart that just is, like, marriage mindset just attached to him so hard, and I ended up moving back to Sacramento to be with him. But it all at that same time where I'm, like, now in a relationship with somebody who's not a Christian, I'm starting to question the values and, like, the ministries of the church because they weren't doing what they said that they were supposed to be doing. And I was also starting to get flooded with, like, pretty scary CPTSD flashbacks from my childhood of, like, growing up in addiction and things like that. And when I went to the church with my mental health concerns, the only answer that I was receiving was to pray about it. And I'm having like severe, almost showing signs of psychosis at this time. So, experiencing an altered reality, starting to question my identity because the church had told me who I needed to be since I was 14. And now I'm kind of like thrown to the wolves. I don't really have a community anymore. And the church had also started to detach from me because of this person that I was dating. So it got very weird and layered. And I tried to hold on to what I could hold on to for a long time in my early 20s of like what felt important to me about being a Christian, um, until I couldn't hold on to it anymore. And things just didn't make sense. Too much time had gone by for me to really like have those brainwashing um quotes like stuck in my head, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Where I was like, oh, I'm thinking on my own. And none of this really makes sense. And I don't know who I am. And I'm going through psychosis and no one's helping me.
Right, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it doesn't help when I mean, they're teaching you there's demons inside of you, and that's your
Yeah,
whole entire bubble, and add
for
that
sure.
to a traumatic childhood, it's like, oh,
Totally.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it turned really bad really quickly. Yeah.
were you able to seek help outside of the church at some point?
So I did start going to therapy, and because I was showing signs of like psychosis and dysregulation in my brain, I then started seeing like a psychiatrist to help me with these experiences that I was having of like thinking people were like climbing in my windows and watching me. But I think because there was so much unresolved trauma and like lack of community and me just like pulling things out of my ass as to like what to do, and I just didn't know what to do. And so my having a psychiatrist there that's just like kind of feeding me these medications so that I can help regulate it, just turned bad really quickly. And I developed like a pretty hardcore pill addiction, because I was just like so lost, like so confused. And I had no idea who I was. And I was having these like flashbacks and no one to really like support me or walk me through them or like tell me what was real and what wasn't. Um, yeah, so it was a dark time in the beginning of that deconstruction of what the hell am I doing?
Oh, that
Yeah.
sucks. And were any of the medications working?
I mean, when I look back at it, I was on like a really large cocktail of things. Anxiety, antipsychotics, sleep medication, mood stabilizers. So I was on all of it, a whole slew.
Mm.
So it's hard to say like what was helping. I mean, like I was sleeping when I took the sleeping medicine. I didn't
Right,
have anxiety when I was taking the
Right.
anxiety medicine, but I was also like taking handfuls of Xanax a day and I was just not feeling anything for years. And so it's hard to say what was actually helping. I'm on mental health medication now that is great for me. I'm so grateful that I found the what supports me and my seasons.
yeah. I I hate when they do that, when they throw you on just
Mhm.
a bunch at once. It's like, how are
Yeah,
you supposed to know what's doing what?
right.
Yeah, no, it's not good care when they do that.
No.
Cassie, when you mentioned that you like had reached this point of addiction, did you still identify as a Christian and were you still going to church or
No.
or you were
So,
gone? Okay.
yeah, I was still identifying myself as a Christian because there was still, and I don't know if you have experienced this, but I know it's a common occurrence across like people who have experienced those like spiritual moments in the church that do feel kind of undeniable. Granted, I would have a far different definition for it now than what I did then, but I was holding on to those experiences and with the definition of the church. So I did call myself a Christian until I was probably 25, 26, but not going to church at all. I was like totally on my own and just defining myself as a Christian because I had these undeniable quote unquote experiences that the church told me was biblical.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, when did it
Mhm.
change to I identify as a Christian, but I'm not plugged into a church,
Yeah.
to you being this badass witchy
Yeah,
person that
hard
you are
turn.
now? Yeah. Was it
Yeah.
what did you just wake up one day and realize who you are? Or like how did you get to where you are now?
I ended up getting married, and we were both Christians when we got married, and then those questions that lived in me from leaving the church, where things just didn't make sense, didn't align, just grew bigger, and the further I got from, like, this biblical legality of what my relationship with God was supposed to look like, the more freedom I felt in just like my own understanding and my own alliance with myself. So my parents died. My dad died in 2019, and then my mom died a couple months later. And I had never dealt with death on that level where it was so sudden, and I am laying with, sorry to say this because it's pretty morbid, but like I'm like laying with my dead parent's body, and it just like really fucked with my head.
Mhm.
Like made me question anything and everything I had ever thought about death, life, spirituality, connection to anything outside of myself. It just really fucked with me. And I think it's because I also had these really wild experiences with my parents after they died. I still don't understand how this is possible, but my parents would like come to me in my dreams and like show me things that were factual that I had forgotten about, but then I could prove happened. Like it was very
Mhm.
wild, confusing situation where I'm like, that's not biblical, quote unquote. Like
Mhm.
that doesn't align. So, and I had also been like, that God that I had loved so much for so long is not a righteous God if he would ever let this happen to me and experience this type of pain and agony of this horrific thing happening with both my parents months apart. So that's when I really like started to untie everything as opposed to just like kind of shoving those really big questions aside and just living life until they start to creep back in and then shoving them away again. But this was when I was like, no, 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 no. None of that makes sense. I I I cannot carry those same beliefs. And then I just started to be open to other people's experiences and verbiage and validation. And I read Glennon Doyle's book, Untamed, that like really
It's a good
gave
book.
me, yeah, it's such a good book. Really gave me the push to then like come out to my husband in the way of me being like, I'm not the person that you married, and I cannot be that person
Mm.
anymore for myself, for you, for the people that I love, for my community. I cannot live a facade anymore. And I don't know what the other side of it looks like, but I have to figure out who this bitch is.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And he
that's how I got kind of like to the other side. And then that's when like
Yeah.
me being a big old slutty witch started to come about.
Love this. I love
We
this.
love it.
Can can we circle back a little bit to Acquire the Fire?
A part of the fire, and then their, like, government official meetups that they had.
Protests and stuff. Did you ever meet Ron Luce or did you see him?
No,
No? Okay.
no, I don't think so. I don't remember. I tried to, like, look up footage, and I was, like, really freaked out that they were gonna show, like, like, the Capitol, Sacramento Capitol, or California Capitol in the video, and I was like, "No, no, I don't think I could live with this." But I don't know if he was there. I can't remember.
Were
Oh,
you there by choice? Like, were you excited to
definitely.
go? Were you okay.
Yeah, definitely. I think just like being involved in any sort of community elements was what really like kept me connected. Was just like having any sort of support or visibility in any way.
Right. And there with other kids and the music and all
Yeah,
the pyrotechnics and everything, and I'm sure it
totally.
was
Fog
very
machine. AC up.
Yeah. No, like, seriously, though, as a teenager growing up in a Pentecostal church, that was, like, the cool thing to do. I remember, like,
Absolutely.
the church would sell tickets, you would beg your parents for the money to, like, go, or maybe,
Yeah.
Cassie, it was different in your case, probably the church might have, like, paid for you to go,
Yeah.
or they
Yeah,
had
they
so
did.
many that they would give away, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
And you would, like, at least for us, we would come up from Stockton to go, maybe there was one at UC Davis at some point or
Uh-huh.
something, and, like, we'd stay up. It was a big deal. It was a
Oh, yeah.
thing. Yeah.
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 I'm
Wow.
sure we were one
At
and
the
the same
same. Oh,
doing the
yeah.
same ones. Yeah.
Totally.
Mhm.
Totally.
That's so crazy. See, I've never heard of them before the documentary. I had never heard of any of that. So, like, knowing Aaliyah, I can't even imagine you being there with
Oh,
No.
Oh,
yeah.
the hands were up,
Crying,
crying that I was
goosebumps, on
swaying.
your knees.
Yes, all
Yeah.
of it.
God.
All of it. Sobbing,
Definitely.
doing the
Yes.
yeah, like,
Uh-huh.
doing it all, like, the
Yeah.
I don't know what
the
came out
what?
of your mouth.
No, that was me speaking in tongues, you guys,
Oh.
like,
Overcome by
Oh.
the Holy
obviously.
Spirit.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha, gotcha.
obviously. Very clearly, that's what
Yeah.
that was.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you ever do any of the snake shit? The snake stuff? Snake venom?
No.
Okay. I
Christina
need a
is
they
snake venom person
definitely
on here.
Christina's obsessed with the snakes, the Pentecostal snake people.
you need to interview someone from the South.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what
from
we
the
gotta
Bible
do.
Belt.
Mhm.
No, with my church, since I was a part of like mega churches, they were really good at like doing the really weird shit behind closed doors or like invite only weird shit meetings.
Mm,
Yeah.
Tell me
okay.
more about invite-only weird shit meetings.
Like, I mean, we would have a Jesus culture come and do like a worship night, and we knew it was going to get fucking weird. So we would like not invite our friends to come to that night if they weren't experienced with being slain in the Holy Spirit or speaking in tongues like that. But what they were doing like publicly on a Sunday, nobody was like speaking in tongues on a Sunday, at least like loudly for someone to hear. So they were pretty good at like putting on a face. So there wasn't, if there was like somebody that was like, that had a demon in them, so, obviously, supposedly, they would like take them to the breastfeeding room and get the demon out in there
Oh.
so that nobody would really see that.
Breastfeeding
That's where I
slash
like to get
Yeah.
my demons out.
exorcism ring.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's my
Definitely.
preferred venue for
There's like
yeah.
a poor mom in there, like,
She's like, I'll
what's
just walk
happening?
over you.
They mistake a
Mhm.
nursing mother for someone
Yeah.
possessed.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, Noe, I interrupted you. So I
Who?
interrupted Noe like a couple
Oh,
minutes ago, and now I don't know
it's
if you
okay, I
remember
forgot.
what you were going to ask.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was just
It's
gonna
fine.
say, because you're talking about looking at your photo bucket, and I was also looking at mine. We're like
Yeah.
the same age, and obviously we were little emo kids. Did they ever put
Mhm.
on like hardcore shows at any of the churches? Like, were you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And me being a little horny slut, I was there. I was there.
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
Flyleaf? Do you remember?
Yes.
Most famous song, Cassie? Do I remember? Oh, yeah.
Oh, I bet
Definitely.
that's the one where it's like, do you believe in God, right? And
Yes. And I was like,
wow, that was like written for you.
yeah,
Mhm. They
absolutely.
knew.
Absolutely. I also just learned that that actually never happened. Oh, in the
Right.
documentary.
Right.
They talked about that never happened. I was like, okay, so that's more deconstructing that I need to do because that somehow still living in me.
Mm.
Can you tell us about your church camp experiences?
Oh, yeah. So weird because I was just almost all my photo bucket is church pictures of church camp. I went a lot. I went every summer in my teenage years from 14 on. I also, when I was doing interns, I went back and was like a group leader, like a camp counselor situation, which is really hard because I am not a therapist and I am being trusted to lead and talk to young people coming forward with like really horrific traumatic things, and my response is to tell them to pray about it or me pray over them for it. Yeah, a lot of situations where I'm like, why didn't I go to the cops about that? Like really weird trippy stuff. Um When in my experience in camp, I mean, I feel like I had a gay old time. Because I was so in it that nothing was, like, weird to me. I remember just, like, having a really good time with my friends, and but when I look back at, now being out of it, I'm like, "Yeah, that was really weird that we were all, like, laying on the ground, writhing, speaking in tongues, and, like, holding each other down, shaking each other," and, um, it almost felt like, when I look back at it, we were doing that for hours in chapel, where it'd be everybody would look forward to worship night in the chapel, and it would be, like, what felt like 5 hours long of everyone hysterically crying in a dark room, admitting these, like, really personal, vulnerable things to people that had no capacity to hold it in the way that they needed to. And then we would just get up in the morning and play Kajabi Can, like, freeze tag with each other
Right.
and then revisit it every single night and then come back and feel because we were having such like visceral reactions to these experiences, we would come back and, be doing like leading see you at the pole. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yes. I
Aaliyah
Okay.
is
know
familiar with
knowing
it.
it,
Okay.
Christina might not be. Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was Bible club president in high school, every year of high school. So I was the one leading See You at the Pole, which is a national gathering around the American flagpole. And you just pray for the country and your school in a
Yes.
very weird, fascist, Republican way.
Right. That's the thing that the Satanic Temple is now. Like, whenever there's like a meet me at the pole, then the Satanic Temple is like, oh, okay, well, we're going to do something. And they're like, no way. And then, well, if you can do it, we can do it. And then they go, never
Well,
mind, we can't do it anymore because we
yeah,
don't want the
Battle of the
Satanic Temple to do it.
Gods.
Right. So
Um,
when you realize that, like, you were not a therapist or trained in any way to help these children when you became a counselor,
Mhm.
did you ever look back and go, "Oh my gosh, I was bearing my soul to these people and they had like and they seemed like they knew what they were talking about, but really they were just teenagers,"
Absolutely.
or yeah, that's
Totally.
crazy.
There's a really dark, weird element to people calling themselves therapists or counselors in the church, where if you're a Christian in the church, at least this is my experience in the churches that I've gone to, they highly, highly advise against you seeing a therapist outside of the
of
church.
course.
So you are talking to somebody in the church, bearing these like really me being like, I just gave head to this dude up in the sound booth, you know, and like telling them these things. And they're just, I don't know, they're just regurgitating whatever it is that they're supposed to be telling me. While me thinking like this means eternal damnation. And I'm like, having self-harm thoughts because of it and telling them that, and they're like, "Well, let me pray over you. And now you're not allowed to be with the opposite sex for the rest of your internship."
Mm.
Very weird. Yeah, so
Wow.
I definitely had carried a lot of guilt once I had, like, come to moment where I was like, "Oof, that does not feel great."
Yeah, it's such an abuse of power and such a creepy dynamic. And a lot of these men obviously are getting off on it.
Totally.
100%.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Do you still have any relationships with the people from your past religious life now?
Um, Hardly. So one of my very, very best friends in the entire world, we went to school together, elementary school, middle school, high school, got baptized together. So we really did a lot of things together. And then, but when I left the church, she was still in. And so I think that kind of put a wedge in between our relationship because now our life looked so differently. I mean, we were maid of honor in each other's weddings. Like I was in hers, she was in mine. So we found each other here and there, like back together, but still had a difficult time kind of seeing eye to eye on a lot of things until these last couple years, and now we're just, like, connected at the hip. I just saw her I was just with her, like, an hour ago, and now a handful of my closest friends from, like, my interns and things like that have deconstructed as well, and we've been able to, like, find each other, and, yeah, it's been really great.
So, like, what's your relationship with spirituality now?
Well, I mean, as far as well, I don't wanna say that. I was gonna say it looks similar spiritually to what it did, but it really doesn't at all in the sense of, um, me feeling so divinely connected to something. I feel so divinely connected to myself and, my higher self, my younger self, all of the parts that make me me. I have a lot of practice that is surrounded around caring for those parts and being connected to those parts. I do a lot of readings, like energy readings. And the only way that I can really be in tune with that is like being in tune with my higher self and my younger self and my present self. So it looks very I can't even, like, categorize as a one thing, like, in my introduction, I said witch, but, like, I wouldn't even, like, box it into witchcraft because it's so multifaceted, and it really is, like, the foundation of it is just building trust and safety within my own body that everybody else my whole life has told me what it's supposed to do, what it's supposed to look like, and where it's supposed to go. So now it's just like highly spiritual practices of how to connect with myself and find safety in my body.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I
Yeah.
And it
love
looks
that.
so different every day. So,
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
just not a good term for spirituality that's not, I don't know,
relying on something
like
else.
supernatural or like a specific doctrine.
Mhm.
And I know that you had a lot of trauma and shitty experiences, which many people do with religion, but is
Mhm.
there anything that you miss or any practices that you still kind of carry with you?
Okay, this is gonna be a pretty niche one, and this can sound a little woo-woo, so this is just my
It's
experience,
okay.
but, I'm being like my first thought is I still carry having authority over the energy that I have in me and around me. So, if I'm ever feeling, like, scared or fearful or just getting, like, a weird vibe to my house or something, or just feeling it inside of me, I will practice having authority over that energy and, like, taking responsibility for it, and I think that the first time I ever experienced that was in, like, experiencing, quote, unquote, "demons" in the church and really practicing having the authority and the power over, like, negative entities. Yeah, but I think that still I experienced that similarly, but also pertain it to more so, like, taking responsibility for myself, the energy that I put out, and the energy that I surround myself with.
Right.
So that looks a little similar. As far as things that I miss, I mean, of course, the community, but I have worked really hard on building a really, like, incredible, authentic community here in Sacramento and with my people virtually online. Um that is really, like, trauma informed and community care focused. So that
Right.
has definitely filled that need.
But it's not religious timeshare where you
No.
expect these people to come to your that's
No, not
that's
yet.
the thing, 'cause that thing in LA sounds amazing, and
Yeah.
the when you get down to the nitty-gritty of all the social justice stuff that churches claim
Mhm.
to do or do,
Some churches,
it's
Mhm.
some
Yeah.
some churches do.
Mhm.
It's like, can't you do that without asking them, something,
To go to
in
church,
return?
totally,
I would I would embrace that if that's, what it and I would be like, "Okay, that's awesome," but when you're
for
trying
sure.
to just convert people and you're, like, holding food in front of somebody who's, starving, of course.
Yeah,
Like, wouldn't you want and that's the thing, don't you want it to be authentic?
for sure. There are nonprofits that I do feel are doing it the right way. I've worked for a handful. I ended up doing social work for, like, 12 years from the church and then into my normie heathen life. There are nonprofits that are doing it the right way, but because they're not affiliated with a church, they're not getting the proper funding to really operate on the level that they really could be
Right.
supporting people in the way that they need to be supported.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate.
It's like they
Yeah.
don't get the same tax exempt status
No,
that the
No.
churches do, right? Yeah.
no.
Like the Satanic Temple does a lot of good stuff.
They do. But because they have Satan in their name, I feel like nobody takes them seriously.
I take
Who
them
really I
very
mean, I do.
seriously.
I do.
I take Satan very seriously.
I do too.
Yeah.
I
And
love
In
that's
him.
fact, give me a moment.
Wait a minute. Channeling.
Yep, here he is.
You probably Aaliyah probably remembers how to exercise
No, I'm a
demons if
woman. I don't have that kind of authority.
Oh, right. Right.
That's right.
Duh.
That
I'm a
vagina,
girl.
huh?
Duh.
So you mentioned that you and your husband deconstructed together. I'm just curious, how was that process? I only know you as your personality online and seeing how you are now. So if someone were to look at your page, they would never in a million years think that you were so religious. I'm just curious, how did you two go through that journey together?
Yeah. So he came from Baptist, like Messianic Jewish culture. And so we kind of met in the middle of Christianity. And then as I started to really like unveil the layers and the truth that I felt was living inside of me and start to like make those questions louder. I came to him and had to be like, I don't know where you're at, but this is where I'm at. And it did feel like, in a stereotypical way, I do feel like I was kind of always 10 steps ahead of him and he had to kind of find his own voice and his own opinions. And I just had to let him do that without like pulling him out himself. But I think by watching me really discover like the true parts of myself and feel so aligned and so connected and experience so much healing just in my own process, he started to then question so much of his own indoctrination. It took like a couple years till we were really able to meet in the middle. And that opened up this huge door of really like taking back independently and together in our relationship everything that everyone else had stripped us of. And so much of that has been like sexual liberation and queerness for me and just really reclaiming who our identity is without anybody telling us what that is supposed to look like. So, yeah, we've had a lot of fun in just non-monogamy and our experiences alongside, if anybody else practices non-monogamy, a lot of really big, hard feelings that always come back to trauma and abandonment within ourselves. So, yeah, I mean, we deconstructed together and it's been incredibly liberating and really hard, but we are finding ourselves like more connected and more on board with whatever evolution has for us in our independence and still continuing to choose each other and show up to all of those funerals of our past versions of ourselves and stick together until whatever's next.
Right.
Aw, I love that. I
That's
love
awesome.
seeing people just find themselves after religion, like all of the things that they couldn't do, whatever it is, embracing the parts of you that you're not afraid to show anymore and just doing
Yeah.
whatever the fuck you want. Like, I just love to see that for people.
Well, and it's also like that and like the amount of time that you now have because so much of your time is not spent in church.
For
Like
sure.
growing up in church, it was Sunday morning, it was Sunday evening, it was Wednesday night.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
there's just so much time that is spent. And so once you've let go of that, you now have time for yourself, for
Yeah.
hobbies, for connecting with spirituality in an authentic way like you've
Mhm.
found, with your practices, Cassie. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the time that church and religion takes up in our day-to-day life when you are
Yeah.
so in it. Yeah. And the mental space also. So it's like there's the physical time, but like how much of your mind is occupied by these, thought-stopping cliches or the scripture that's constantly replaying in your mind,
Oh,
or
yeah.
Right.
the keeping track of the rules that you have to follow, and did I sin today, and what do I need to repent for later? Like, there's
Yeah.
just so much space that religion
Right.
takes up.
And beating yourself up for things that are completely
Yeah.
normal and
Yeah,
Mhm.
natural.
exactly. And it's like life's hard enough as it is. Like, why are we going to let Sky Daddy dictate,
No,
all of the things? Yeah.
not happening.
I'm yeah,
For sure.
absolutely not.
Right.
An invisible man?
No.
I don't like the ones I can see.
I was gonna say, I don't want a man, period.
Right.
If he's invisible,
Yeah.
oh God.
Oh God is
Um,
right.
Yeah.
does your husband identify as like an atheist, or is he just kind of
I don't think so. I mean, a part of allowing him just to discover what his opinions are and what his identity is on his own without having any sort of impression on him. I think that that's just an ever evolving process for the both of us in figuring out who we are, what we identify as. I don't think that we really like, as corny as it sounds, like labels or just limits. I think that's what I love so much about, like, just my definition of queerness, because it's ever evolving. I get to show up however it is that I want to show up. Nobody gets to tell me who I am, who I need to be. And I'm just going to continue and evolve into whatever feels good, feels most aligned for me. So I think we've both adapted that kind of mindset of like, we're just going to do
whatever?
what feels good. Yeah. Never say never. And
Right.
as long as, we're both doing what feels most aligned and honors our higher and true self, that's what it is for the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Very
love
cool.
that. Yeah.
When you were both going through deconstruction, I know that you mentioned that you were kind of 10 steps ahead of your husband. At some point, did you ever have like a Bible unstudy? Did you guys sit together and like look at things that you once believed in and were like, look at how crazy this is? Was there any moments like that?
Yeah. I don't know how he would feel about me sharing this, but I do remember in the beginning, like probably 8 years ago, 7 years ago, I remember having a conversation with him about the importance of feminism and even just like what it looks like to, as a white heterosexual male, like taking a back seat and letting the voices of minority folks speak and have their space. And that was a pretty revolutionary concept for him because he had been so brainwashed in thinking like the man of the house, the leader, kind of like that, focus. So that was a big moment in me just being more radical, more of an activist. Um the whole time, really. But,
Mhm.
yeah, I think that when it came down to, like, studying things or finding contradictions, it was more so the aftermath of
Mm.
us finally being able to come together and being like, "Holy shit, I can't believe we thought that. That's wild." And we still have those moments every single day. Even, like, if any political post comes up or people share, like, wild information that's being posted by presidency, then we have moments where we're like, holy shit, what the fuck? This feels so wild that we were ever in a space where this felt remotely aligned to us.
Mhm.
So we do have a lot of those moments on the outside, but I think the deconstruction of me being a little bit ahead of him was we were pretty quiet on the topics because we both had to come to our own understanding of things. And I think that we really honored that for each other, and wanted to just give each other the time and the space that we needed in that.
That's awesome
Very
that you
healthy.
guys that you guys have been able to, like, stick with each other through so many different phases of life. 'Cause a lot of
Totally.
people can't do that, so
Yeah. Yeah. It's
yeah,
been
no,
really
like
great.
Communication, people. Communication
Yeah,
is
Yeah.
key.
for
No, like
sure.
a faith crisis can definitely be, well, not even crisis really, but like any kind of transition. Are you
Sorry.
okay?
I just dropped my
Christina,
phone.
be
Are
quiet.
you
I
okay?
know.
I'm such a bitch.
Nelly, edit that out.
No,
She's like,
leave it
"Damn it."
in.
You know I
More work
will.
for me to do.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
But no,
and now my kids, I don't know what they're doing
you're
out there, so
fired.
I know.
Yeah, but no, a faith transition can definitely be a relationship ender.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's really good to see Christina, you're fired. It's really good to see
I'm
that you
muting
guys
you.
have
You're in
stuff.
timeout.
You're in timeout. That it's really good that you two have, been able to support one another through deconstruction. And
Mhm.
I like the term that you mentioned, or like an evolution of, where you're at in your relationship with the world and with one another too. Right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
No,
been
that's so
wild,
good.
but
Yeah.
so good. Yeah.
And now look at you guys. You look like you're having lots of fun.
Yeah, we are. We are having lots of
I
fun.
love that for you.
Yeah.
You deserve
Yeah.
it.
Thanks. Get it together, Christina.
These fucking fuck trophies.
What?
Her children, her fuck trophies.
My fuck
Oh,
trophies.
I didn't get it for a second.
I'm like, I am doing a podcast. Stop slamming doors.
Cassie,
Hey.
what do you think happens when we die? Do you have any thoughts on that?
No. I think a really huge relief or like mindset that I feel like I've taken on is not trying to pretend that I know anything about anything.
Mm.
Um, I think that that question is so fucking loaded. And even after experiencing the death of my parents and challenging that thought once again, and I really feel so much freedom in actually not knowing and saying that I have no idea. I know what I want to happen to my body. Like, I want to be returned to earth and, like, have, be eaten by mushrooms and be,
That. Yes.
mycelium. Um, but as far as like what happens to my soul and my energy, I would love to know, but I have no fucking idea.
Yeah,
I love it.
that's totally fair. And I think that's the most logical. Like, how could any of us pretend to understand?
Right. It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah. One of our past guests said she thinks we return to where dreams come from. And I
Mm,
thought, oh, that was kind of a nice way to put it. But,
totally.
anyways,
Well, then Noe
Yeah.
made fun of my answer because I said that I just wanted to be an invisible spirit and I would just go travel everywhere and be on the plane. And she was like, if you can be invisible spirit, why would you need to be on a plane?
You're like, it's kind of fun. So I get free peanuts.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Cassie. Hello,
you're
done.
a
Yeah.
flying spirit. You can go anywhere. And you're like, yeah. And then I can just fly wherever I want on an
Yeah.
airplane.
Yeah. I would want to, like, I don't know, enter the body of everybody who's in the Mile High Club or something.
There you go. See, on an airplane.
Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
you go.
Not everybody. Not Matt
No.
Yeah,
Gates.
not everybody.
No.
Yeah, I also thought for a second, I have, like, really, a lot of sensory issues. Imagining having sex in a plain bathroom makes my skin crawl. Like, no, 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 I could
No.
not do
No,
that.
thank
But
you.
being a
No.
ghost, being a
Yes.
spirit, then I could just, like, step out when I'm starting to feel
There you go.
overstimulated.
Right.
I don't even want to go to the bathroom in an airplane bathroom, let
I
alone
know.
have sex in
No.
an airplane bathroom.
I know.
Was I on a
Freaky.
plane yesterday? That was yesterday. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Did you have sex in the bathroom?
No.
absolutely not. No, I did
Oh,
not.
okay.
I didn't even go to the bathroom. It was a short flight.
No Matt Gates
Oh.
this time. That's an improvement.
Yeah. No, we were on
Oof.
Southwest, so no. I just anyway. Can we play a game?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, he's gonna do it. Done.
All right. You know how good I am at introducing things.
You're great.
Uh-huh. Okay. We're going to do our segment 7 Minutes in Heaven, where we ask these fun, silly questions. And that's it. So, okay. First question is fuck, marry, kill. Here are your options: Jesus Christ, Michelle Duggar, and Larry the Cucumber from VeggieTales.
I'm fucking Larry for sure. Girth Master.
Right.
Okay.
I saw that one coming. Yeah.
Um, I'm marrying Jesus, obviously. And then who was the second person?
Michelle Duggar.
Kill that bitch.
She's
Yeah.
Yeah.
she needs to
Fair
stop
enough.
reproducing, so just
Yeah, definitely.
She's
love
done
it.
enough.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Number 2, what was the most ridiculous thing you believed while you're religious in terms of, like, doctrine or any
Oh my god. Like I wish that this could have been the whole segment. Um, the earth was flat, obviously.
Oh,
Yeah.
You believe that in
The
your
past
religious
life?
world?
I believed it towards the end of my um Christianity.
Ho
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Like, how did you get there? Like, I know that we're playing a game, but, like, how'd you get there? Like, how did
Um, I mean, so I was in it for a long time, so I believed a lot of wild shit in my head. Like Antichrist, like so much wild shit. So there wasn't really anything that somebody could tell me that also had a faith background that would really throw me for a loop if you had literally a ounce of logic behind it, logic, quote unquote. I was just talking to JD about this yesterday, my husband. We thought this because I can't name who it was, but we were in very, very close relationship with people that thought this, and I was doing what I could to earn their trust, and, if you're catching
Mhm.
my drift, um, and they had what they were doing in their portion of religion was kind of just like pulling a lot of shit out of their ass and making up a lot of stuff and like a lot of kooky like QAnon stuff.
oh,
Like really wild. Before QAnon was big, but think that really wild
Sure, sure.
conspiracy stuff. And so I just remember driving in a car with them and they were talking about flat earth and I was like, no fucking way. Like, you're wrong. Like, how could you ever think that? And then they said something really basic that could have taken me 3-second Google search, but they said, "Have you ever gone in an airplane and seen the curvature of the earth?" And I was like, "No, I haven't, actually."
they're all,
You're right.
"Checkmate."
That does make sense. Exactly.
Oh my
Check
god.
mate, you got my ass. And so I believed it for a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow,
You're
wow,
very
wow.
brave for admitting it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Takes a lot
thank
of
you.
strength
Thank
and
you for
Yeah.
courage
sharing.
to come
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. That it goes I don't know. I believed a lot of really wild stuff that is really embarrassing. That literally doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, that just makes it more incredible that you've gotten to the place you're at now because that what a difference.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3, who do you think is the hottest deity? It can be any religious figure, anybody from mythology.
No, I don't know. I don't know. Probably some like Greek god.
Yeah.
Like that's just like really fits the niche of like stereotypical like masculinity, like whatever that
Like
would
Thor?
be. I don't know. Yes, like so unattainable, cringy, painful kinda to look at. But I don't know, there's still a portion of me that's like, "Yeah, I'd love to slather you in oil and climb you like a tree." Poseidon. You
Okay,
know?
there
Oh,
we go.
okay, okay.
He knows, how to make things wet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There you go.
absolutely.
With
Yeah.
that big old triton
Mhm.
of his.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Into it.
Okay, number 4, what is your Jello salad? And for non-Mormons, this means what's your cultural or religious food dish that you enjoyed when you were religious and you still would eat it or make it to this day?
Communion juice?
Grape juice? Just grape
Yeah.
juice? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Because it was like a white evangelical church, no one knew how to fucking cook,
Right.
like yeah, nobody knew what they were doing at all. I did learn how to make Mississippi pot roast when I was at the church, and that is one of my favorite meals ever. I just made it last night. So good, so
What makes
maybe
it
that.
Mississippian?
Oh, I have no idea. I think that's just what it's called.
Okay.
Have you ever had it?
Not that I
It's
know
like
of.
with
Oh,
the pepperoncinis,
That's why
right?
yeah, it's pepperoncinis, a ranch packet, au jus
Oh,
packet, and
I
a
have
stick of
not had
butter.
this. I have not had this.
Oh, that'll make your pussy throb. Yeah, yeah, definitely,
That is
Pot
so
roast so
funny.
good makes your pussy throb.
definitely,
Well, we've
definitely.
got an episode title.
There.
Number 5, if you were to start a cult today, what would the uniform be?
Oh, nudity, for sure. Yeah,
Right on.
absolutely. We've There's plans.
You have something in the works?
Yeah, we have something in the works. No, we just have a dream of, operating like
Naked
a
commune.
spa. Yeah, exactly. What could go
Right.
wrong? No, we just have
Nothing.
a dream. I'm an esthetician, and I do a lot of, like, spa treatments and work combined with, like, trauma-informed care and things like that. But has anybody been to Asha Urban Baths? It's a bathhouse in Sacramento.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
It's really amazing. It's not like a nudity bathhouse that you would go to in, like, the Bay Area or something, but it's a just, like, spa setting, and we've dreamed of having, like, a spa bathhouse situation in the woods in, like, Nevada City maybe, and it would be clothing optional, and
Yeah.
so we have dreamed about having, like, a community or life that's just, like, full nude in the nature setting.
Love it.
That sounds
Yeah,
like torture
Yeah.
to me because I'm a never nude, but that sounds like really fun for people who are who are who like to
Oh
be
my
naked.
gosh.
I'm a
That's
perpetual
oh,
nude. I didn't have clothes
yeah,
on when I hopped on the camera initially.
I saw
same.
that. I
No,
did get
I'm
to see that.
Yeah,
I like when
Christina
other
didn't
people
see.
are
Yeah.
naked, just not me.
yeah, I'm 100% the naked neighbor. And,
Yeah, I'm
like, yeah,
more
definitely.
with Christina on this, which I wish that I wasn't, but I am. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I couldn't be naked by myself for a long time, like, my whole up until I was, like, 27, I wanna say, I, like, could not be naked even by myself. I could not stand to look at my naked body, and then, I don't know, just, like, so much self-work and sexual liberation and exploring that and what that looks like. Now we are both me and my husband are always naked at home. Yeah.
It's
Come
inspiring.
over.
I'd sign me
Right?
up.
I know. Yeah.
No, I think there's so much shame that goes into our bodies when you are so programmed into religion, right? Where
Yeah,
like your shoulders are sinful and like don't
totally.
even show your knees to anybody because it
Right,
might cause somebody to sin. So there's this
right.
inherent belief that your body is a problem, that your
Yeah,
body causes sin or is just sinful for existing in the way that it does. So no, I hear that about not being able to be
Mine was just
naked.
90s
for
diet
sure.
culture. Like, I've just never looked like
Same
anybody on
thing.
a
Yeah.
magazine, so I feel like,
Mm.
why even try?
Oh.
But, yeah. But
You're getting better.
that's my whole thing. I am getting better.
Usually Christina wears a burkini, like, like a burqa, full bodysuit, and
Really? Oh,
her arms
I
have
know
come
what it
out this
is.
summer,
Yes.
and I'm really proud of you.
I know.
Gonna
Right.
get your ass out next.
I know. I'm so tan.
Yeah.
Look, I have like a tan line. I
Whoa.
know.
Very proud
Watch
of you.
out.
Okay.
All right.
Number 6. What is your favorite curse word?
Cunt.
Yes.
Yes.
We haven't
Yeah.
That's
had a
my
cunt yet.
favorite.
Cunt for sure. I think because it was so forbidden for so long. It was like my mom's number one hated word
Mhm.
growing up, and I think it just really didn't have a moment for a long time, and now the fact that everyone's like, "We're taking that shit
Mhm.
back," like, yes, we are.
Yeah.
Cunt, 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 all the time.
I almost wore a hat to record in today that says cunt. Okay, and last question. What is your guilty pleasure?
Oh, like anything?
Anything.
My guilty pleasure, oh shit.
Or
Pizza
maybe
Lunchables.
Oh, okay.
It's it's horrific, it's so disgusting, and I receive a lot of judgment for it, but it's like a weird niche comfort thing that I have that when I'm just, like, needing control over something, I'm like, "I'm going to get a Pizza Lunchable."
Do you eat them cold or do you heat them up.
Colds.
Yeah.
Colds. Yeah.
It could be way worse. That's not bad
Mm-mm.
at all.
Yeah.
No, but that's a good one.
I'm
I
trying
don't
to
think
think of
we've
something worse. That's just the
I don't think we'll ever have
that's just
anybody
what
else
came
that
to my
has
mind.
that one, so that's awesome.
Well, Cassie, thank you for letting us interview you. Do
Thank
you have
you.
social media where you would want to be found?
Yeah. I mean,
For your business or
well, I have
anything.
my business page. Yeah, I would say, well, my business page and my personal are very different. My business page, I am a trauma-informed care esthetician where I hyper focus on nervous system support and um and just supporting people that have trauma living in their body and don't really know how to go about supporting themselves or even connecting with themselves on a spiritual level. So I am a very niche esthetician here in Sacramento, and my Instagram is foster.goodness, or you can just Google Foster Goodness Aesthetics. And then my personal, which is very like kink friendly and sex work friendly, and I just very unfiltered show my life, is Unholy Hunny.
I
I
love
love
that.
that too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's
Yeah.
Honey, Hunny. Right?
Yeah. Mhm.
There you go.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cute. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us.
Thank you all. This was so fun.
You were a great
Yay.
guest.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you. We don't end on a prayer?
Thanks for listening to Girls Gone Godless. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode. It helps heathens like you find bitches like us. Check the link in the show notes to stay up to date on the latest heathen news and how you can become a guest on the show, or leave us a tip if you're feeling generous. See you next Sunday. Stay blasphemous.